Please be advised that this video is for the sole purpose of entertainment. Any views are purely my own, are subjective and may not necessarily be true. I do, however, do extensive research for all of my videos. All photos have been found on the public domain. I am using them under the fair use and fair dealing guidelines. I urge everybody to do their own research. Well, hello, it's Murky Meg here. It's Saturday the 3rd of October and this is my second video today. If you've not seen the first one, it goes into great detail of the 49 bullet points that the Mail on Sunday have issued that they think states that Meghan and Harry cooperated with writing the Finding Freedom book. But in this video, I'm going to talk about the gaffe that is the Evening Standard interview. Yes, Harry and Meghan have done a video call or video interview with the Evening Standard, which is a really bizarre move in my personal opinion because it's a free paper, it's only available in London. It's a really strange choice, but let's face it, do you know what? They've ticked off so many other British newspapers. I think that it was their only option, either that or the Telegraph, but even they're starting to waver a little bit on Harry and Meghan. Don't get me started on what she was wearing because she really is morphing into Kim Kardashian, isn't she? During the Evening Standard interview, they were both sat on the settee and Prince Harry revealed his awakening to the discrimination faced by black people after meeting his wife. Meanwhile, Meghan chipped in that she praised the Black Lives Matter protests in America after the death of George Floyd and she called it beautiful, but said this only applied to the peaceful protests and admitted many people found them inflammatory. And Prince Harry also chipped in on the Britain's Got Talent diversity controversial dance routine, saying that he was surprised by the negative comments it had received. Now, they also did an article for the newspaper and the couple both said as long as structural racism exists, there will be generations of young people of colour who do not start their lives with the same equality of opportunity as their white peers. And for as long as that continues, untapped potential will never get to be realised. Harry also said that London is celebrated as one of the most diverse cities in the world. But if you actually get out there on the streets and talk to people, it doesn't feel so diverse. When was the last time you actually went on the streets? The real streets of London, Harry. You know, the ones where as normal plebs live. I don't live in London myself. Any major city is like that. I live in one of the most diverse cities in the UK. I love it. I think the community element of where I live is fantastic and I wouldn't live in any other city. Now, the problem that I have with all of this particular interview is not with Meghan's comments at all. She has every right to comment on this particular element. She's been through that herself, I'm sure, as a biracial woman, but it's the fact that Harry is also jumping on the bandwagon too. Harry, mate, you have lived the most privileged, sheltered life of a white man. You cannot comprehend this. I can't comprehend this because I myself am white. But the fact that you are sitting there and preaching to us about what we can, cannot and should do is extremely hypocritical. Meghan also said that I was in the UK for a few years until we moved back here. I didn't realise there was a Black History Month in Britain. Well, those on Twitter have found out that you did in fact know because you sent a letter. Numerous people have posted this on Twitter that the Duchess of Sussex sent a personal thank you note to school children who wrote to her as part of a school project with regards to Black History Month in the UK. So she sent them a thank you note regarding Black History Month in the UK, or did she? Or was it just her aides? Again, she gets keep caught up in the lies that she tells. Everything is twisted to suit their narrative, isn't it? I think they've got this mental block of things that they've said in the past and they just want to rewrite what they think will take them forward in the future. But what they do is they forget what they've said. I think the message was the right message for the time. Yes, times are changing. There is a movement out there. But the problem lies with them getting behind this movement and being part of the royal family. Now, yes, they have left the trappings of the royal family, but they still hold their titles. Stop using them and we won't have a problem with you doing such things like this, being so vocal about movements, about who you should vote for, about why you should vote. Drop the titles and nobody will have a problem. It's been reported that they themselves want the titles to be handed back. I don't personally believe that one bit, because the titles are what make them. The titles are what open the doors. Without them, they're just Harry and Meghan, people that are just in their $14 million Montecito mansion that are just spouting hypocritical nonsense. Do you think that Harry and Meghan should have done this interview and said so many things about the way that Britain needs to move forward? Let's not forget, they are the president and vice president of the Queen Commonwealth Trust. Should they be saying this? Should they be so vocal on how they think that Britain is rotten to the core? Because let's face it, that's what they feel. They are trying to hit back because they receive such negative attention. It doesn't work like that. It's not negative attention if it's true. If you said those things and you get backlash, then don't say them in the first place. Or at least research properly before you say it and put your foot in your mouth. A British writer, broadcaster and former politician, Trevor Phillips, wrote a damning piece in the Times yesterday. And in it he said that unlike many people, I've always wanted them to succeed. The symbolism of their mixed race union could have sent a poignant message to the world that in this country at least we have found ways to bridge the racial divisions that risk destroying other societies. He continues that, but if they want to use their star power for good, they need to change their production team pronto. Trevor Phillips writes, Meghan told us with wide-eyed gasp that she never realised Britain might have a Black History Month. A mistake, he says. The first BHM was launched in 1987. For at least 2 decades, it has been officially celebrated by British governments of every stripe and marked by members of the royal family. Meghan simply reminded us how little she learnt about Britain, and in particular that she was unaware of the one moment in the year when Black Britain is acknowledged by establishment Britain. He continues, I feel sorry for Harry when he uses the term like structural racism that he doesn't appear to understand and which make him sound like a 1980s polytechnic lecturer. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what a polytechnic lecturer is, we used to have a system where we had universities and polytechnics. The universities held that a little bit more credence. Yes, you still got your degrees if you went to a polytechnic, but you had to work harder, get higher grades to go to a university. That got scrapped many, many years ago, and the polytechnics all turned into universities. A bit like American colleges, is where you go and obtain your degrees. They all hold the symbol of universities, but still today that you or we as Britain know which ones were universities and which ones were glorified polytechnics that changed into universities. It's just a little bit, it's like your Ivy Leagues, I suppose, in America. You all have that element of one is better than the other. He sounds exactly like somebody who is stuck in the olden structure within and hasn't learnt with open eyes what exactly is going on in Britain today. Britain is one of the most multicultural countries in the world. Yes, there are elements that are deep-rooted and racist, and I don't agree with them, and I believe that that should change and we should be more open-minded. But Harry is not the one that should be lecturing us on what should and shouldn't be done. He is a privileged white man who's been shielded within the royal family and knows nothing of real life. I say, Harry, let's come and stay in a council house in the middle of any inner city here in the UK, and let's see you cope for 2 weeks. Then your eyes will be well and truly opened. When was the last time that these two actually got down to the nitty-gritty? Not glorified photo ops, but real people with real struggles. I don't see them doing anything like that. Personally, they didn't when they're in the UK, and they're not doing it now when they're in the States. Walk the walk, Harry. Don't talk the talk. Let's see you make a real difference. But most importantly, importantly, do your homework. That goes to Meghan as well. I'd love to know your thoughts on this whole debacle of why on earth they did this in the first place. Why choose a very strange newspaper, the Evening Standard, which I thought was a bizarre move. Is it the only one that will actually touch them right now? Did they pay them? Were they paid for this interview? I don't know. Nobody really knows why they did it, and it's just made them look like bigger fools. I'd love to know your thoughts on their comments, what the fallout was going to be, and more importantly, how do you think the royal family are going to react with this? Because right now they look like they're doing bugger all. Something needs to be done to curb this behaviour. As always, I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.